Your news for the state of Tennessee in about 10 minutes. Tennessee in 10 starts now.
Good morning and thanks for joining us for Tennessee in 10. I'm Amanda Hara at WSMV in Nashville. A nonprofit called SCORE says Tennessee needs to focus on getting students well-paying jobs. They just released a report that says students should have economic independence when they leave high school. There are two other big priorities, like expanding the Tennessee Promise Scholarship Program and making sure that students, especially minority or low-income students, have support.
We don't just want students to obtain a post-secondary degree. We want them to obtain some kind of post-secondary credential or degree that is going to have value in the labor market and will help that student have a career that's enabling economic independence.
Officials say in the last decade, only about 26% of ninth grade students in Tennessee actually went on to get a degree within 6 years of graduating from high school. Well, you could soon pay to avoid traffic on Tennessee interstates. TDOT will roll out its plan for choice lanes this month. That includes where the choice lanes will go and how much they'll cost to use. A little bit of a hiccup, though. Some Democrats say local governments should decide for themselves whether or not they want this.
Privatization of roadways and charging tolls just to get places to and from them on time is pretty controversial. So I think locals should have a say in the matter.
TDOT will put out a plan for all the choice lanes on December 18th. All right, First Alert meteorologist Stefano DiPietro tracking some big changes for a lot of us, Stefano.
The chilliest day that we'll see so far this week, and then as we go into the weekend, a good soaking rain, maybe even a little snow falls across parts of our area. So let's get a look at the state today. Temperatures will mostly be sitting in the 40s. At least we'll break up the cloud cover and get some good sunshine back. Overnight tonight, I would expect some areas of frost. The temperature near, if not below freezing across most of the area. The only spot we won't do that is back in West Tennessee near, let's say, the Memphis and Tiptonville areas, but most other areas will be sitting right around freezing. Good sun through the afternoon. It's a warmer day, 50s to near 60 going into our Thursday. Friday, the clouds are on the increase, but the day does stay dry. First showers arrive Saturday morning, then they'll start to get more widespread as we head through our afternoon into the evening, going all the way through the overnight. Heavier downpours, a couple rumbles of thunder, though there is no real severe weather threat to talk about. What we are watching on the back end of this for Sunday as colder air works its way in. This is especially for the higher elevations. We could change some of this rain over to some wet snow before this finally kicks out of here. That should happen at the latest Sunday evening in parts of East Tennessee. But don't be surprised if there's a little snow on the back end of all of this rain, Amanda.
All right, something to watch for. Stefano, thanks. Well, families who rely on TennCare say a new website meant to help them hire and pay providers hasn't been working. Well, now a powerful state lawmaker is stepping in after seeing a WSMV investigation. State Senator Bo Watson called TennCare and CDTN, the company that runs the site, to his office at the state capitol. The senator says he learned startup problems with the new website caused most of the trouble, but he says he sent a clear message to both groups.
But we're almost 6 months into this, so the grace period is now over. And CDTN needs to be sure that they're resolving every problem because this is a vulnerable population.
Watson says he also told TennCare it needs to do a better job communicating with families. While he's confident the bugs in the website will get worked out, the senator says he plans to check back in a month to make sure that everything is working right. A Tennessee lawmaker wants people living in rural areas to have better access to health care. And green energy is coming to the state. Whitney Turner has those stories from WVLT in East Tennessee.
From the WVLT Newsroom, I'm Whitney Turner. The TVA is looking to build a brand new type of nuclear reactor in East Tennessee. TVA says it's part of its goal to be carbon neutral by 2035 and net zero by 2050. It's the first of its kind nuclear reactor. It's supposed to be safer, smaller, more reliable, and cheaper than other reactors. TVA still needs approval from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. The U.S. Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm, visited TVA's new site yesterday. She says not only will a new reactor bring green energy to the region, it also will bring jobs. TVA officials say if everything's approved, we'll see this reactor around 2030. They also say they'd like to build several more in the region if the first one is built. An East Tennessee representative is leading the charge to make mental health care more accessible to rural Tennesseans. According to a new state report, 100% of rural counties have little to no access to mental health care. And if there is mental health care even available, you have to wait for it.
The average amount that a client's waiting to see a therapist, because I also think it deters them from getting help. So on average, a client is waiting about 6 weeks to be seen by a clinician. And at Hope Nation, we're actually seeing our clients within as little as 48 hours because we are a startup company that's serving Tennessee.
To help with the lack of accessibility, East Tennessee Representative Diana Harshbarger is introducing a bill that would expand access to mental health and substance abuse services for rural patients. She says it specifically targets those who work in the farming, fishing, and forestry industries. The bill would add $10 million in grants each year through 2027.
And new this morning, Chattanooga is a step closer to getting an Amtrak passenger rail service. They're getting $500,000 from the federal government to study how Amtrak could work in their city. They'll pay close attention to the cost and other requirements to get the train system going. If approved, it would connect to Atlanta and Nashville.
Good morning, I'm Taylor Tucker. According to newly acquired decertification documents, Adrian Blakes has been identified as a previously unnamed MPD officer who was fired for his actions the night of Tyree Nichols' death. Now, although the documents do not specify the Tyree Nichols case as the reason, it does cite an incident with the same date and description. Decertification documents state Blakes witnessed two officers kick a man while he was on the ground but did not intervene nor report the conduct to a scene supervisor. The report says Blakes also failed to mention this conduct during his interview with investigators. And he denied witnessing the officers' actions. 7 Memphis police officers and 3 Memphis Fire Department employees have been fired for their involvement in Nichols' deadly beating. And the Memphis Police Department's K9 Glitch is the first dog in our area trained to find child predators by sniffing out devices criminals might use. He's trained to alert on a chemical that's used in the production of memory chips to look for things overlooked in cyber crimes. Glitch is funded by global nonprofit Operation Underground Railroad.
Thanks for joining us for Tennessee in 10. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning with the big headlines from across the state. Have a great day.
This is Tennessee in 10, streaming your news and weather across the state in about 10 minutes.